he's sneaking up on me again. I'm just looking through my books, picking out some things that fit with. I've been talking about, I'm going to talk about kaleidoscopes today. Stack and whack quilts fit right in there, but that's not quite what I'm looking for. Let me put that back in there and come talk with you. I have the auto camera set up, so as I walk around the room, and I'm sorry about the clutter, but I work best when I can see the things that I can pull from. So let me just walk around the big machine here and come to stand in front of the board. Okay, right there's where I like to be, so that you can be inspired and see the thread wall. Today I have 8 topics. I like keeping this to 8 topics so that it's not too long, it's not too short, it's just right. Let me grab my list of things to talk about for today. It's all about experimenting. This is where I switch from quilter to, I guess, artist. We are all artists. I have certain things I like. Most of them are just visual things, but there's certain things I like. And so experimenting helps me broaden my horizons and make things that are different than everyone else's. I'm sure that you do the same thing. You experiment. So I have a variety of topics, but they all kind of lead back in a big circle. My first topic, I've had this on my list for weeks but haven't gotten to it, it's a collection of things. And we all collect something. I'm tired of seeing videos, get rid of your stuff because your kids won't want it. I don't care. I like my things, and I'm going to keep them around, and I'm going to assume I'm going to live to 99, and I want to enjoy those things the whole time I'm on the face of this earth. Just saying. So my first collection I'm going to share with you today, kaleidoscopes. It's not a big collection, not like the button collection by any stretch of the imagination. But I have a few toy kaleidoscopes. Let me cut away to the video I filmed of my kaleidoscopes earlier to share with you. Let's take a look inside the kaleidoscope. Hopefully I won't make you ill while I turn this toy. I love how it changes and changes and changes. But every time you move it even a fraction of an inch, it changes. So I love this little toy. This was given to my son by his great-grandfather. So it has been around for a while. Very cool toy. Let me show you the other kaleidoscope that I have that is also, it's marked Ma's Bobbin in Maine. I have no idea. I know I bought it. It has a glass bead at the end, and it shows you whatever you are looking at is what it changes to. So let me move to a different part of the room, and it changes based on where you have the kaleidoscope pointed. So let me move it again. The colors change, and it's all on the mirrors inside. There's the thread wall. There's the panel. So it depends on where you are looking as to what pattern shows up. I love this. Fantastic. Very simple kaleidoscope with mirrors inside. You can see the mirrors right there. So that has also been around for a while. Then there is the fly eye. And you're thinking, fly eye? Yeah, it's got these little squares. Let's take a look in this one. It also depends on the view of what you are looking at. Let me see if I can get it straight here. So there's, there we go. There's basically the TV area. And you can tell when we're over looking at the books, but it just does squares. It does not give you the ooh, there's the bright light. It does not give you the kaleidoscope effect quite. I mean, you can turn it, but it is a plastic toy. And depending on what you look at, the colors change. There's the bulletin board. And sometimes the camera is having trouble focusing. This one has a much smaller viewer window, but fun to play with. Then there is the pencil sharpener. Now this one also has a fly eye in it, but it's not very impressive looking down through. When it was first new and not so scratched up, it was very cool. And I think it's a Lisa Frank brand pencil sharpener. Still works pretty well as a pencil sharpener, not so much as a kaleidoscope. Let's look at some books. Last week I showed you this template. Well, I went through and I marked the things that could be cut with the AccuQuilt, because I showed you that too. And this one is a 1.5 inch square. Well, it's a 1 inch square, so it's the 1.5. And I also have that as a separate thing, not part of the English paper piecing set. But I also showed you this calendar, the perpetual calendar. Now this, as I was looking at the new hexagon perpetual calendar, it has shapes that are not here. I mean, there is a trapezoid, but this is not the same trapezoid. This is a bigger piece. So there are things in here in this perpetual calendar that do not match this exactly. And I also found, well, this one came with, so it is the English paper piece book that came with the set, because it is made specifically for the AccuQuilt Go Cube. So it tells you how to use because it cuts the paper separately. I don't do this way, and I don't do partial seams, but there's like a coloring page, and then there are 36 block ideas that go with the cube set, and then the coloring page too to go with it. So interesting little thought. I've never used this book. And then the other book that I have, years ago, I copied some of these and I put a swirl on it so I would know which direction I had actually made it to be. I did some prep work. I actually made a couple blocks. But here is the new hexagon book that's 52. And these remind me of kaleidoscopes, because you'll see that she pieced them so they are very kaleidoscope-like. And this book has been out for quite a while, but you can see she made quilts and all kinds of fancy schmancy things. And colored, and her pages are colored. My patterns I just made in black and white. See, this one she fussy cut so that the pieces were kaleidoscope-like. I really like that look. And then I have this page marked for some reason. Well, this could be very kaleidoscope-like too. So I'm not sure. Did she have the plain pieces in there? Let's see. I took that from page 20. So let me find page 20. No, I must have just copied it in black and white. So I guess I was starting from, at this one you can see I didn't even finish. I started stitching it down and I didn't get the whole way around. And I noticed I left tails because when you glue stick things, oh, there's still paper in there. That's why I didn't finish it. Some of it has paper and some of it does not. But when you glue stick things, you let the little tail stick up, and then as you sew it down, you tuck it in there. So there was one that I did. There was another one that I did. And that was all the further I got. But I fussy cut the center. I can see my stitches because I didn't know any better when I made this that I should be using black along the edges. So, but it's cute. It is very cute. It would make a good something. I don't know. I think I would have to start that project over again and make these into orphan blocks just because I could. Now on Wednesday, I had out the light table and I was tracing words for a study in scarlet quilt to hand embroider if that's what you wanted, just to give you some hints. But I did mine on the machine, about drove myself crazy, but I did mine on the machine. It was a high maintenance day for the embroidery machine, and I will do more with that later. When I did Scarlett's quilt at Christmas time, or for her birthday, it worked beautifully. Stitched it all out, no problems. But Wednesday was a different story. So I started thinking while I was waiting for it to do, and I had to stay right here by it because you cannot walk away from an embroidery machine or an automated quilting machine. You cannot. You have to stay and watch in case it has problems. And if you do walk away, whoo, you're taking a big chance because it could not tangle and pull your fabric right out of the frame. I've had it happen. I know what I'm talking about. So it is better just to stick around and be close in case it needs your loving attendance. So while I was waiting for it to do its thing, I started using the light box for some other projects, like this applique project. I had great fun with this. Let me cut away to that video to show you what I have in mind. Now, my next topic is all about tracing. So while I had the light table out, I decided to fill an empty project box. So I have this pattern, Baltimore Tribute Baskets, and I've decided to try one of these patterns out, see how I like it. I need a spring wall hanging. Well, I don't, but you never know. So I'm going to try this one. So I got a piece of, and I'm using just plain white because this is practice and it's a wall hanging, and I can add whatever borders I'd like later. So my piece is oversized. I laid it on the light table. Let me show you the pattern. So this is what I laid on the light table. So I know that my image will be reversed because I will, the way I like to work is from the back. So there is my basket. There's the size of my block. And I laid this on the light table. And that way you can see it in pencil. But this will be the back. So it will be reversed. The first step it says to do is do like this leaf that goes behind things and the basket. So for the basket, I have chosen, I have bags and bags of, and it says use bias. So I have this lovely blue bias. Oh, baggy of it. So I am going to use that for the basket. And I think it'll turn out lovely. And I'm going to do baste, and then I'm going to sew it on. So this is my, and like I said, I'm going to work from the back. So I will need to get the light table out again and pin it on and then baste it on, then start sewing down the pieces. So this will be the back, because I like to do that baste method from the back and then trim my pieces. I will show you more of this later. I just wanted to share a tracing project while I had the light table out. I have another one also. Let me fold this one up. And I will, well, it doesn't matter. Let me put this back in the box. I also found, it was sitting side by side with this one. This is called it's from Bird Brain Designs, and it's the Friendship Garden quilt. It is hand embroidery, and I saw this quilt made up in a quilt shop. Normally I would not pay that much for a pattern for one little quilt, but I really liked the embroidery designs that were in this quilt. And they were all things like, they have a nice saying, friendship's garden, a lovely place filled with flowers of every hue, the sweetest blossom grown in mine is friendship shared with you. And so they all have some nice saying. But as I was reading the directions, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to trace, look at all that stuff to trace before you embroider it. Oh, I don't want to do that. So I was looking at the directions. And it has very basic stitches here at the bottom. And it says, transfer the design. Okay, so they used muslin, and they also talked about sticky fabric solvay. And I'm thinking, what? What is that? So I went on Amazon, and I found some sticky water soluble paper stabilizer. So apparently, and I will be trying this product out. It comes from different manufacturers. This was the one that just happened to be on sale. You can lay your design onto your printer, and this is on sheets, and you just run it through. Then you peel off the backing, lay it on your fabric, do your stitching, and then this product washes away, so that you don't have to really copy and trace all of those beautiful designs. This does all the hard work for you. So I will be talking more about this product later. No affiliation. I get no money for talking about things, but I love to share experiments with products. So I'm going to be trying this one also, and I will let you know how that turns out. Topic number 3. I have been working on those embroidery blocks from Monday to get the combo stitches done. Now, I always, when I pick a stack of blocks like that, I do all the embroidery first. So I did all the feather stitch first on all of them. And then I went back and I am working on the Lazy Daisy flowers on all of them. I'm almost done. I have 1 and probably a half left to go. So let me give you, before I do the beads, because I have not done the beads. I've picked some beads because the one, I want it to look like little blueberry bushes. My granddaughter Scarlett loves blueberries, so I am doing little blueberry bushes too, so I can think about her while I'm stitching on those little blue beads. So let me share with you some of the blocks that I already have done with the embroidery and the ones that are still in progress. These are very cute. And I have been listening to, my husband reads out of a book while I stitch, and that way I can listen and work at the same time. It is a nice, relaxing process for a wintertime evening. I hope you like these little blocks as much as I do. Last week, I had no progress on the weather blocks. None. Nada. Zip. Zilch. But this week, I have been stuffing them through as leader ender projects to get some of those July blocks done. They're very bright. They're very colorful. And I only have 4. But I want to point out these 2. They are the same coloration because of the weather conditions, but they look different because of the fabrics. It always amazes me how different every quilt looks based on the fabric choices and if they're different fabrics. That's why unless you buy the kit, it's not going to look exactly like the pattern you see in the book. What things do you do as leader enders as you are sewing other things through the machine? Please share. Now, as I'm standing here, you can see that panel is still behind me. And we had a Friends Day last Saturday, and 2 of my friends made it. One of them was ill with probably the flu, so she wasn't here. But I asked them their opinions. My goal is to use this as the center panel and then use these size panels as cornerstones, and I'm going to fill in borders between. So here are the actual numbers for sizes. And this panel is an odd length. It goes right to the salvage edge at the top and the bottom. So I'm not sure how, and it's an odd 3/4 of an inch. So when I add the extra 1/2 inch, I'm barely cutting off those salvage edges. There might still be a little bit of salvage in it. Oh, but I pulled out my border books. Here are the 2 books that inspired me. I love this red and white book. Was the first quilt book I bought ever. And so it has been part of my collection forever. I like it because the black and white pictures don't influence my fabric choices at all. Some people don't like that, but I like that a lot. So I've chosen a couple from this book. And this book by Judy Lacadera, I like her borders too. They're very colorful. And she even has, Judy Lacadera even has quilts to go along with every border that she has. So it's not just borders in her book. It is quilts and borders, or you can use bits and pieces. So these are my inspirational books while my friends were here, and we discussed which one would be best, the most compatible. And before I tell you, I am going to figure out how to do a community survey here on YouTube. So I'm going to show you my choices of blocks, and I would love to hear from you. I don't know if it'll show up down in the box below, or I'll have to do it as a separate thing. So please check down in the comment box to see if there is a survey. I think that's how it works. It's going to be all about experimenting and learning this week. Told you. So, do you like this style, simple braid? And then I'll put additional plain borders outside of it. And I'm going to pull colors from the blocks for any of these borders. So simple braid or speedy braid, or do you like this one, the little 4 patches set on point? Let me know what you think. That doesn't mean I'm going to do what you think, but let me know what you think. Can you believe we're on topic number 6 already? So my topic for number 6, years ago, obviously, because I was still working, and this is my third non-school year, cut these little bags out using that die cut machine, the Ellison machine. It's very similar to the AccuQuilt machine, but it's made for paper, and it's been around for years. So we had an Ellison machine to cut out paper shapes, and I cut out some of these paper shapes. These are old calendars. This is the back of an old desk calendar, and I think I'm going to make some little gift bags using this as my template and my pattern. Maybe add a little square of embroidery. I think it'll be cute. So this is an experiment that'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Just something fun to talk about on Fridays. Do you ever experiment with things like this? Deconstruct something and then turn it into something else? I'm sure you do. Please share. Love to hear your ideas. I love to watch videos that are these kind of things. Topic number 7, experimenting with the English language. That's what I'm going to call it, since we're talking all about experimenting. My friends called earlier this week, and they watch every week, and Tim will want royalties for this. Yeah, I'll give you my 2 cents worth, Tim. There you go. We've all been in this place where we have to deal with, let's name drop some company names. CVS, the cable company, Comcast. I'm going to name Comcast. And they are so aggravating because you cannot get through to a person. And when you do, they don't really listen to your problem. And you end up repeating yourself to three different representatives. And then they don't want to really hear that you're unhappy. And Tim came up with, he was so upset that he came up with a new noun, angerment. Those companies, mainly the cable company, gives him great angerment. I think he was getting ready to turn into the Incredible Hulk because he was so irritated. But everything worked out in the end. But I know sometimes I have to hand the phone off to Dan so he can deal with them, because when your head explodes and you are filled with such angerment that you cannot focus anymore on speaking like a coherent human being, that you need a backup person to help you out so that you can take care of the business you need to take care of. So there's my little plug for experimenting with the English language. There you go, Tim. I said it on camera. And the last topic, everyone's favorite, is viewer contributions. So let me turn this over and show you the eye candy for the week. First of all, I have Marion, and I have given Marion an extra little quilt, not to cover up what you're doing or the importance of what you're doing, Marion, but some people were squeamish. So Marion, thankfully, volunteers for the American Red Cross. Sometimes she's in charge of the snacks during blood drives. Other times she's donating blood, like she is here in this photo. And I've given her a little quilt to cover up her arm. But I am so glad she said this is one of the things that makes her happiest in retirement, is to donate and give to others. So something to think about. This is a plug for the American Red Cross. Give blood today. You could help save a life. I also have things from Diana. She was on vacation in Cancun, and we missed her input. She made this great looking yellow quilt. Yellow isn't usually my color, but I like this. I am digging on this. It is so bright and colorful, and it is backed with all jean material. This was a special request from her son's girlfriend. It is a tied quilt, and I am sure it was a workout, better than going to the gym, to wrangle this 100 by 100-inch quilt. It is fantastic looking. Thank you, Diana, for sharing this with us. She also finished her Study in Scarlet Garden Path block. Very cute. And she has been working on her UFO list, number 8. And hers was cutting fabric. She says she's about 3/4 of the way done, which is better than I'm doing. The panel is still behind me. And Diana also made border blocks for the bonus extra width of the Study in Scarlet Study in Scarlet quilt. I have mine cut out, and I'm working on those as leader enders as I do other projects like the weather quilt, which is also leader enders. Maybe I'm only working on leader enders. I don't know. And last but not least, my friend Diane was here, and she had half of her, she's doing the murder mystery quilt that I did last year. And every year it's a new murder mystery. And this month's block was a paper piece block, and she brought it halfway done to our little meeting, and she finished it all up. This is a fantastic paper piece. If you Google murder mystery, for a fee, you can join this mystery. They put out a pattern every month and a chapter, and then you can solve the murder mystery as you go, and it pushes your skills. At least the one last year, it pushed my skills. You saw several parts and pieces, and then I showed you the whole quilt at the end. But if you're interested, Google it. Check it out. It was fun, but I opted not to participate this year because I can find lots of other free fun too. So, at any rate, I am done with my 8 topics for this week. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and that you have some nice weather, some sunshine, not snow. Just saying. Hope spring is finding you early. And I will talk to you on Monday with some more Upskill Monday. And maybe those finished blocks with the beads to show you. Have a great one. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.